And now, a word from our sponsors. The Oyster Recovery Partnership is the nonprofit expert in Chesapeake Bay oyster restoration. Oyster Recovery Partnership has planted more than 9 billion oysters on 3,000 acres of reef and recycled more than 250 bushels of shell. Everyone benefits from a healthy Chesapeake Bay. Poor water quality and declining habitats can be reversed. Oysters are the answer. Pescavore is packaged in a convenient single serving size with no refrigeration required until after opening. Pescavore is the perfect, healthy, and delicious snack for those on the go. Pescavore, tuna that travels. Hey, what's
Got it.
going on, good people? It's Gardner Douglas, your oyster ninja. I'm here with the one, the only Philly's finest, home of brotherly love. I think I got that right.
You
We
did.
got Gary MCC ready.
Hey, how you guys doing?
What's going on?
Not much, nothing much. Good morning on this beautiful Friday.
What's happening, man? How you feel?
I feel good. Sixers won last night, so I'm a little groggy, but it's okay.
Okay, all right. Sounds like a long night. Sounds like a good night.
Night full of excitement, man.
So for
Oh, when's the last
everybody,
time? Yeah, go
huh?
ahead. Go
So
ahead.
so so for everybody who doesn't know, Gary is the man up in Philly. When it comes to oysters, you're gonna see this guy. When it comes to seafood, you're gonna see this guy. When it comes to good customer service, you're gonna see this guy. So I've actually competed against Gary a couple of times now.
Yeah,
Philly, New York. Um, you haven't been to nationals yet. We're gonna get you down there though,
yeah, I gotta figure that out.
for sure. But Gary is a great oyster shucker, a great person. Like I said, great customer service. You're about to hear all about his story. The man, the myth, Gary.
Hey guys, so I think I've been shucking oysters now for about 7, 8 years. I started back at this little place called A Bar at 18th and Walnut, I think in 2014, 2013, somewhere around there. Worked there for about 3 years, and then I transitioned to Old Bar down at the other end of Walnut Street. I was there for a good about 3 years, and I finally made my way to Oyster House. So I've been here for now about 5 years now going on. So it's been quite the journey. And actually, we met at Philadelphia Oyster House's Oyster Bash back in 6 years ago, something like that.
Yeah, it had to be around 2016, 2017, something like
And that
that.
was even before I started working there. So that was, I wasn't even a Oyster House employee at that point. So
Exactly, but you came in and you killed it. Um,
yeah,
Garrett,
yeah.
let me ask you, man, through your years, your restaurant experience, um, first of all, why oysters? Why oyster shucking? Like, did you start off as a dishwasher, a line cook, or did you come straight into oyster shucking?
Well, I was trying to figure out how to get into the food scene. So in college, actually, I went for restaurant tours and management, and I realized, I was like, oh, where's the food? I was like, oh, that's the culinary end. So when I actually started working at A Bar and Kitchen, they were introducing a raw bar program, and I said, hey, guy named James actually he's like, taught me how to shuck and everything else. And I think from that point on, since it was such a unique niche, I just wanted to continue to do it. I mean, there's a lot of chefs and cooks out there who are phenomenal and great, but this is kind of the lane I think I wanted to take, and I stuck with it. A couple battle scars along the way. I mean, I'm sure my first year or two, I've nicks and scars and cuts and scrapes, and at times it was a little defeating, and I was like, "What am I doing? This is some challenging stuff." But I stuck with it, and after a while, it just became really fun. And then I started reading books and getting into it, and then going to oyster farms, and then and now kind of just expanding out into the shucking community. Now, I know you, and I got some friends up in Maine, and it's a really wonderful experience, and I wouldn't change it for the world. So yeah, it's going good.
So you mentioned just books. Any particular books that you like that really stick out?
Yeah, actually, where's my, hold on one second, let me grab it. The Essential Oyster, of course. It's one I read often. Actually, I was just going through it the other day. I get a lot of my oyster knowledge from here, so I'm not just, making stuff up back there. Because in the beginning, people would ask you questions. I'd be like, I don't know, I have no idea. Like, so I had to start doing some research and understanding, what these beautiful creatures do and how they live and, how they get from the ocean, to our palates and what our jobs are in respect of that. The oyster farmers work extremely hard to create a beautiful product and they hand their beautiful product over to us to then make sure it's presented wonderfully for whoever's going to consume it. So I think it's a nice chain of events how the oyster gets from one place and then to the plate of a consumer. So I think it's pretty cool.
Okay, cool, man. So like other than the farm to table aspect,
Yeah.
what else was surprising for you to learn about oysters?
The variety. Not all oysters the same. You can't shuck every oyster the same way. You have to have a lot of respect for them as well, because if you're going too fast and you're not paying attention, one wrong move and you could be out for a day, you could be out for a week. It depends on how severe your injuries. I've had a couple puncture wounds through the hand and on the side and different spots, but eventually that hurts, right? So you learn not to do that. And every once in a while, you might get yourself or side of a shell or something sharp here and there. You might reach the wrong way, but you toughen up. You toughen
No
up.
doubt, man, for sure
Yeah,
about that. What's been like? I mean, so how many years has it been since you started?
I think I want to say 2013. I think is when I started shucking oysters.
So like, what's been I guess one of your fond memories like in this oyster game?
Oh my God, there's no love lost over shucking for couples and that person trying to impress that new person that they've met over a nice dozen oysters and a glass of champagne. That's always iconic. It's always the best to try to help somebody achieve the goal through food and the love language of what is oysters. So, because you eat with your eyes, right? As Julie would say. So
Exactly. And a half show blog, Julie. Shout
exactly.
out.
Shout out to Julie. Um, and yeah, so we got to make sure that our little sea gems are presented perfectly for every guest that we serve.
For sure. So as I mentioned in the beginning, like you're iconic in the food scene in Philly. And I always every time we talk, I always bring that up. I was like, hey, I hope they paying you good. I always bring it up. But other than that, man, what what made you take that on? Because everybody doesn't step to the plate. Everybody doesn't take the lead. You know what I mean? Like, because you're doing some great things, and we're going to talk about that at Philly Oyster House. We're going to talk about that. But like, what made you want to step up to the plate to be, a leader in the this oyster world? Because you're known.
I have a competitive nature, a nice competitive nature. I mean, I did some sports. I ran track and field, so it's always been innate in me. And then once I find something, I try to do it better, try to push the ante, try to find something new, try to keep people happy. And right now, I'm just trying to do just that. So um, yeah,
Okay, I know. I feel you on that, especially the competitive nature part of it. Um, so let's just talk about some of the things you do at the Oyster House, man, because you do a lot. Just like what are some of your things you do in a normal week?
well, right now, normal business is back to normal. Business is booming at Oyster House. We just reached 10K on Instagram, which is pretty impressive. Um, and we're getting into doing specialized shucking classes. So those are held with me on Tuesdays at 2:30. And it's designed for couples. So they come in and they can hang out for a half an hour live on the raw bar, and they learn how to shuck some oysters and get into the action and see what it is to be an oyster shucker for a little while. And a lot of people come away with experience enlightened. Some come in just to brushing up their skills. They might have, done it before and they know how to do it. Some have never done it at all, so they're terrified. And I, just reassure them that it's fine, it's okay. I have a perfect record. No one's hurt themselves, so that's always good. But I think it's an art that, for a half an hour a week, we get to share with two lucky people. So those events and those scheduled classes are coming in like wildfire now. So it's really nice to see that people are really interested in it, and they know like what it is to shuck oysters. And when you get 2-3 dozen, what we're doing back there, it's not, sometimes it's not easy when everybody needs everything at once. We try our best to get it all out.
Right. You got 10 tables who all want 2 dozen.
Yep.
And then, the customer, no offense, but the customer thinks that as soon as they put their order in, the oysters are supposed to be coming right out, and it doesn't work like that majority of the time, or all the time, really. I mean, especially during happy hour. So
Yeah.
I definitely feel you. So how would people, if they want to take that class with you, how would they go about that?
Oh, they can just call into the restaurant and just ask about the shucking class. And Philadelphia Oyster House on Sampson Street, 1516 Sampson Street in Center City, Philadelphia. Just call in and, say, hey, I want to sign up for a second class on Tuesday with Gary.
And that's always with you?
Yep.
That's what's up, man. You're a celebrity.
Yep.
That's what I'm talking about. That's how you get that stardom.
Hey, we're family. We just want everybody to come in and have some fun with us and eat some good food.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the restaurant, man. Just like what it's about, their specialties. If y'all do any like, I don't know, towers or anything. Just tell me a little bit about a restaurant.
Oh yeah, we have a great seafood tower option. It has a 2-pound lobster, scallop ceviche. It comes with a dozen oysters, 3 cherry stone clams, 3 middle neck clams, a beautiful shrimp cocktail displayed in the center. And then we have a variety of 6 oysters on our lineup at the moment. We do happy hours Tuesday through Friday. I don't think we offer that on Saturday. And we just have an aggressive, awesome hackney atmosphere, and we just love to serve everyone. What else are we doing? Fortunately, we haven't had any oyster festivals because of COVID. Hopefully, maybe that's something that can happen next year. Stay tuned for that, but we're not sure yet. But that's kind of been hampering the fun we've been wanting to have. I'm sure that's everywhere, but yeah.
So what about as far as like any special dishes or any dishes y'all have on the menu, like a popular dish?
Oh, lobster rolls for sure. They have a lot of great options as far as dinners, and I'm actually blanking.
Who has the best cheesesteak in Philly?
Oh my God, the best cheesesteak. See, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on here.
Come on now.
I might get in trouble.
I want to hear, man. I want to hear from the Philly native, the Philly resident. I want to know.
Del Sandro's. I'm not really a big Passanginos kind of guy. I'm sorry, I gotta say, but I just like the underground ones more so. I can't remember the last time I actually had a cheesesteak. We actually don't eat cheesesteaks as much as you think we do.
so the other crazy thing is, so I've only been to Philly like that one time when I came up to do the competition, and I was surprised there was a pretzel shop on every corner.
Yeah, people love pretzels. Not me.
I love pretzels too, but I was like, God, I was like, wow. And they were good. They were really good. Like we got a pretzel from one corner, and then we went to another corner, and we got some more pretzels. Like they were good. I was surprised.
Yeah.
So what else is huge in Philly then? Like, we got the oysters, we got the pretzels, we got the cheesesteaks. Like, what do you eat?
I'm a homebody. I cook at home all the time. Being in a restaurant, you don't want to go out all the time.
Okay,
right?
chef. All right, chef.
I'm at home in my kitchen just whipping stuff up and staying out of trouble, man.
What about drinks? Like, what do you like to drink?
Oh, I'm a wine man, so white wine all the way through and through. I gave up
And
the beer, too heavy on my stomach.
wow, okay. I wish I could give it
Feel
up,
a
man. I'm
cocktail, I can kind of do that.
yeah. So like far as like wine and oyster, like do you pair or like does it matter? Do you eat a lot of oysters?
No, actually, I should be eating more, but you shuck them all the time. And then by the time you want some, it's like, what do? You go back out to get them, and then I don't know. So I would have to have some oysters just hanging out in my fridge all the time, but sometimes you don't want to see an oyster.
No doubt, no doubt. I know what you mean. So
Every
like
once in
far
a
as like
while.
are you doing any private events, special events or anything like that?
Uh, a little bit, yeah. I'm kind of working on some stuff in the background, to be continued. But that's something I should be announcing in the near future. I think some exciting things coming up. So I don't want to speak too much on it right now, but I
That's
got some
fair.
stuff. Got some
That's
stuff in
fair.
the works. So
Just keep the Oyster Ninja listeners, keep us tapped in for sure.
oh, of course, for sure.
Um, what else, man? Anything?
Nah, man, I'm going to Rhode Island next month.
What's going on in Rhode Island?
There's a oyster festival there. I think it's called Bowman's Wharf. I'm going with Aquidneck Oysters. So I'll be representing them, and that'll be a good time. I've never been, and I believe there's an oyster shucking competition happening at the same time. So
Okay, okay, that's cool.
I might slide into that and see what's going on. But other than that, I'm just taking it day by day right now. So
Um, you know, being in this league that we're in, this
Mhm.
oyster league, this oyster world, um, you know, so I'll give the perfect example. And this we're about to get serious. It's about to go
Oh, sh-
down. So when George Floyd was happening,
right.
all right,
Hmm.
a person reached out to me, and I'll say it was Julie. It was Julie from In a Half Show. I love Julie. Um, and and kudos on her part because she was thinking outside of the box. She wanted to spotlight some people of color. And what's crazy is I couldn't really think of anybody. It's you, it's the real Mother Shucker,
Right.
it's Amani,
Right.
um, it's a couple of people down south. But I was like, dang, there aren't a lot of people of color, a lot of us
Yeah.
in this industry. And you know what? There probably are, but just not to the level that we take it,
Right. They're not as
as
well. Yeah. Present.
influencers
Hmm.
or, people in the spotlight or whatever.
Right.
And that's, as far as Oyster Shucker, uh, cooks, chefs, as far as seafood.
Right.
So that leads me to ask, in a city of brotherly love, how, how does it feel? Do you know other people? I mean, I know there are a lot of Hispanic people um who are in the oyster shuckers because even on the shore, I mean, like for like they migrate and they do their thing. And hey, that's all fine, cool. Hey, the work got to get done. But
Right.
like, have you experienced anything in the industry far as racism, discrimination, or anything? Anything you can talk on or want to talk on? A lot of
No.
people don't want to
Yeah.
talk about it.
I'm thinking. Yeah. Yeah. I'm thinking through all my experiences and all the places that I've shucked and done events, and nothing that sticks out in my head.
And that's great.
I mean, I in at least at my restaurant, we're all of our shuckers are made up of black guys and Mexican speaking people. So we are the glue that holds that together. Um, yeah, as far as the Philly scene is concerned, I mean, there's a lot of restaurants that have shuckers and things, but I don't know if they're as serious as we are when it comes to putting out the oysters. But then again, I need to take a trip around the city and see what's going on. But as far as the racism aspect, I don't. I don't know. Philly's pretty well. Philly's pretty moderate in that sense. I feel like we're pretty you know, we speak our minds here, so I would definitely know if somebody was. I feel pretty low. Let's just say that.
Well,
I
good.
definitely.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that. I mean, that's good to hear
Yeah.
that the city of brotherly love, you don't really feel it or see it or any of that. So that's great. I was just asking,
No, no.
just
Yeah,
wondering.
that's why we're here. Yeah. Now, maybe my experience isn't the same as somebody else's. Um,
Right.
I can just only talk about me. So.
For sure, because it's all about Gary. MCC ready.
Oh boy.
Cool, man. So, you got anything else you want to talk about for real? I mean, the spotlight's on you, brother.
I know. I know. This is the first one. I'll be ready to do the second one soon, right?
Okay.
Now
Hey,
we
it's
gotta
always need
feel
a
for this
follow up.
thing. That's
Exactly.
right. That's
This
right.
wasn't hard, man. Real cool.
Yeah.
Calm conversation. I appreciate you for taking time out of your day.
Oh, of course.
After a busy night. I'll tell you what, man. I do have another question.
Yeah.
Because this probably give me an upper hand when I face you again. Uh so far as competitions, like what goes through your head when you're competing, man?
Well, it's funny you say that because I, every time you compete, don't you replay it in your head and you're like, what did I do? What didn't I do? Like, I'm sure you do. Everyone does that, right? And it's just, I think it now, this is what that was I think I've done three or four. So now, like, the heebie-jeebies and the nerve, you always get a little bit nervous, and I think that's good for a competitive spirited nature, but keeping the hands steady and then finding that rhythm of speed and cleanliness. So it's like the first time I shucked, I went too fast and kind of butchered the oysters. Second time I shucked, I went too slow, had nice oysters, but was just too slow. So now when I do it again, I have to kind of put those things together and find a happy medium. Um, and also the last time I shucked, I was in a heat with Honor. Shout out to Honor and Jose. Shout out to Jose. So it's like, what is going? So
Yeah,
I felt the fire, but at least feeling it, feeling that speed next to you, then I always know like
yeah,
what
yeah,
it is. So
yeah.
I felt it and I know. So
So
something.
honestly, that's the best thing that can happen in a shucking competition.
Oh yeah.
When you get in a heat with fast oyster shuckers, it
Hmm.
pushes you to step your game up. If you
Oh
get in
yeah.
a heat with slow oyster shuckers, nobody's really slow. If you're competing, you're good. Just
Yeah.
gonna put that out there. But shuckers who are not really as fast as you, um, it if you're not in your game, if you're not on your A game, if you're not in your zone, that can throw
Right.
your whole game off.
Oh yeah. I've hurt myself because of that. Even at the restaurant. Like
Yeah,
having a bad, you could just be thinking about got an argument with somebody and you're pissed off about something and you go in the shuck and crack, crack, and you're like, and you get more. And then it's just, it's a wrap. It's just like
yeah,
you got to be calm, cool, and collected. You got to get your thoughts together and just focus on task at hand because you can really hurt yourself.
right. Where you see yourself in 5 years, man?
uh,
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe traveling, maybe shucking for the stars. Who knows? Maybe I'll be on TV. I don't know. Have my own company.
mm-hmm.
Uh, go out and shuck for your 300-person wedding and
Yeah, yeah, okay.
do intimate classes at your home, or I don't know, maybe I'll be in LA. I don't know.
Why
Who
not,
knows?
right?
Who knows? Sky's the limit,
Yeah.
world is your oyster, as they say.
Where does your because like I said in the beginning, you have a great customer service. I've seen that in person every time I've come in contact with you. I just see how
Appreciate it.
you interact with people, and of
Yep.
course your social media. I see it also. Snap. Um, I got to come back to that one, but I just thought about something. But where does your like because everybody doesn't have it. I know servers and waiters who don't have good customer service. So where does that come with you?
Oh, I have a love for people. I generally actually care about you when you're there and your experience, and that's part of my job. But it's just I think I'm a nice guy. I try to be anyway. Um, I don't know. It's just my nature. It's just how I am. I was raised fair, and had different life experiences, I think, which led me to this point and made me
Like what?
turn out the way I am. And
Anything you can talk about? The
I
different
had
life.
a little bit of a dual upbringing. Bopped around a little bit,
Hmm.
but finally, I found a safe place and some people to look out for me when times were bad, and came out through that and came out on the other side, and you know uh, uh, didn't finish college, but moved my way back down here, started working, and then you know found oyster shucking, and then now here I am. So
Let's talk about it. Let's start this therapy session. How was your upbringing?
it's a little challenging. There was ups and downs, a little bit of the foster care system happening in my early
Wow,
childhood, but
I didn't know that.
yeah. And then did meet my sister. It's a little bit down the road, but
Hmm.
we have a beautiful relationship now. We talk all the time. It was just her birthday on 420, so she
Yeah.
celebrated.
Her birthday or 420?
Yeah, her birthday's on 420. I can't make this up. So, uh, yeah. So I have a lot of family and a lot of love. So I
So
definitely put it that way.
how do you think growing up or having your time in foster care, how you think that's influenced you like to the person you are now?
I mean, it was such a long time ago, and bad things happen, but good things came out of it as well. Um, I just, everybody has issues and has struggles. You're not the only person, and once I realized that it's not always about Gary, there's other people in the world that have it way harder than you do. And then you just kind of you learn to smile. As long as I have a roof over my head and I can feed myself and I can pay my bills and, go to work and stuff like that, it's a good day.
Can we talk about the two Garys though?
Say it again.
Can we talk about the two Garys? Can we talk about the Gary who was selfish and self-centered? And then can we talk about the Gary that is now? Because I mean, I know it's not oyster related, but what I like about the Oyster Ninja podcast
Yeah.
is, it's a story. Like everybody has a story, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I want to, and like you said, everybody goes through something, but the important thing is that we come out better than we started.
Yeah.
So not that I'm trying to pry or, but it might help somebody else out. You know what I mean? So I just
Yeah.
wanted to ask really like, and it might help me because I got issues and flaws. We all do, like you said.
Right.
But I wanted to hear like a little bit about, you know, all right, I'll put myself out there first. One of my biggest issues is I'm selfish. I'm very
Mhm.
selfish and I know it. Um, and not that I don't like to give. It's just, I guess I'm picky who I give to and who I give time to and what I give time to.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask you, you know, could we talk about the Gary then that went through things, who was all about Gary, and the Gary now who, like I said, is from what I see, from what I know, a great people person, a great person.
Well, the Gary before didn't went through uh, a challenging time. So then when I was able to sort of go off to college, and then I kind of just disconnected. So in that instance, I was very selfish. I didn't reach out to family. Uh, I was kind of just up in East Stroudsburg, kind of just trying to find my way. And I got my first job and learned how to start paying rent. And for a year or two, I was just kind of distant and kind of just doing it on my own. And at that point, I think I had dropped out of college, and I was just kind of living up there and working and not really doing much but drinking and partying and doing all the things that college people do without going to college. So I was like, this isn't, I can't,
Right.
can't be doing this. Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
I said, if, by 2009, if I'm not doing anything productive here, I need to leave. Like, I can't just stay here. And
Mm-hmm.
so I left, and, I got down to right outside of Philly, down to Elkins Park. And I worked out there for a year I lived with Ari and Matt Gummel. And I was working at a Baja Fresh, working the cash register, and I didn't have any money. And I walked, I think that was like up York Road. I think that was like maybe 5-6 miles to work every day and back until I could afford just to take the bus. Yeah, and it was like the middle of summer, and I would get to work drenched in my uniform and like, can't work this way. And I'm like, I know, but I don't have any other way to get to work. But and then I kind of just did that, became a manager at the Baja Fresh, and then moved into Philly. I started working at Potbelly. I was a manager there, and then I transitioned. Did I go back home? And then I can't remember. I think I went to Chipotle, and then I was living at home because I got fired from Potbelly. First job I ever got fired from, but then they ended up firing the entire staff, so it wasn't just me. So I was like, okay. And then I had to move home for a year, commute to Philly. I was working at Chipotle at the time for a year, and then I started going to culinary school. And then I did that, and then I picked up a job at A Kitchen to become a prep cook. And then that's when the oysters came in. So oysters, it took a long time to get to the oysters, but it was just a lot of like, just trying to figure out where I'm going and what I wanted to do and how I was going to do it. And I was like, go to school, but what am I getting out of it? I don't want to be a chef. I'm like, it's just like oysters. All right, perfect. So I think, yeah, they came along, and I was like, I think this is what I want to do. Like, this is cool. There's a lot of them. It's hard as hell opening them, but I guess I'll just keep at it and see if I can figure this out.
But what did it mean to you, man, once you found your sweet spot in the industry?
I don't think it clicked until maybe like 3 years in, when I was working I think when I got to Old Bar. And oh my God, we used to do, I don't know if they still do it. They did half off first Fridays on the whole oyster menu. Like every single oyster was half off on the menu for the entire night. So I would always be I'd be very ready for that day. And I just remember, I think I shot 1,000 or 1,100 like in one night or something. And after that, I knew, I was like, this is where I'm at. This is what I'm doing. And then I'm like, who else is doing this too? So then, and that's when I moved to Oyster House, and then but
That's what's
yeah,
up, man.
yeah, man.
I appreciate you taking me down memory lane, man. I really do.
I had to try to remember.
It's all good.
Like, wow,
It's
so
all
long
good.
ago.
All right, man. Like I said, man, I appreciate you taking time talking to us on the podcast.
Yeah,
Getting personal, getting business. I think we hit all aspects. Any questions for me, man? Are you good?
When am I gonna see you again?
Well, if you come to nationals, you might see me.
Because Amani wants to set something up. I gotta call her. She wants to. So maybe the three of us can talk, and we can all meet up at the same time this summer or something. If you're available. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
That sounds good. I mean, Amani's doing some great things. We didn't
I
even
know she's busy.
splash on that. But you know, Amani Black, she's also been on the podcast, Minorities in Aquaculture. Gary's cousin.
That's right. Shout
How
out to
about
my
that? Small world. Small world.
small world.
But again, yo, appreciate you for taking time, man. Hopefully we'll see each other soon. If not, of course, we got social media.
That's right.
If you need something, reach out. But how can the listeners, if they want to come see you at, you know, Philly's Oyster House, how can we see you doing that? How can we sign up for a class? What's your social media handles?
Yeah, we can. You can follow me at G_Shucks_. It's like play on Gary Shucks, and then you can follow the restaurant PHL Oyster House. Yeah, so find either one, you'll find the restaurant and myself. So we're interchangeable.
My man. And finally, what's your elevator spiel? What's your elevator spiel? You know, it's my you want to spark up a conversation. What's your elevator pitch?
Oh. I usually, well, I can't. Well, lots of times, actually, I know the guests that are coming in, so I can just play off of something that we've talked about in the past, or, you know, I'll tell them, especially if I see some, I like, there's particular oysters that we'll have one day, and I'll look for particular people to come in that love those oysters, and when they do, it's always amazing. So there's people that like their big well fleets. There's people that like, you know, their small PEI oysters. I think that's what my elevator talk is. That answers the question.
That answers the question. Just playing with it's like, man. Cool, man. Like I said, appreciate you. Hopefully we'll be getting a part 2 of this conversation after you come back from the shucking competition, Oyster Festival.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. Until the next time, appreciate you, man.
Yeah, man, it was good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Exactly. Long time coming. I've been trying to get you on the podcast for 120 years. Oh, one last question though. One last question.
What happened?
What makes a good oyster shucker?
What makes a good oyster shucker? The ability to shuck an oyster and not just pop an oyster.
And last, to flip?
No,
Or
you
not
don't
to flip.
You don't flip. I don't know. I don't know where this Philly flip thing came from, but it's not. We don't know.
Philly flip? No Philly flip?
No Philly flip. Nah.
Oh,
that's
shut
up.
Okay. All right, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate you, man.
Boom, boom, boom. You know.
Right.
All right, man. Good talking to you.
Yes, sir.
And now, a word from our sponsors. Pescivore uses responsibly caught wild fish, marinated with real ingredients and naturally wood smoked for delicious flavor. Pescivore, tuna that travels.